Welcome to today's Explainer. If you're a focused learner looking to truly optimize your health, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're exploring a fascinating puzzle. We're going to dive into why so many incredibly dedicated plant-based eaters might still feel just a little off or sluggish, despite hitting absolutely all of their macro targets perfectly. We're going to break down the science of essential minerals and figure out exactly how to fine-tune your plate for maximum energy. So let's jump right in. It's a highly frustrating experience, isn't it? Have you ever looked at your daily nutrition tracker and thought, okay, my macros are flawless. I'm hitting my protein, I'm absolutely nailing my complex carbs, my calories are perfectly dialed in, so why am I literally dragging? You're optimizing the big picture, which is great, but you might still be dealing with low energy, sluggish recovery, or just a subtle, lingering sense that something in your physical engine is sputtering. The reality is, simply eating whole plant foods doesn't automatically guarantee optimal nutrition. It's so easy to hyper-focus on macros, right? The big three: protein, carbs, and calories. But what about the micros? Micronutrients are the quiet ones. They are incredibly powerful, yet they're so often overlooked. They don't always present as dramatic, obvious deficiencies. Far more often, they manifest as suboptimal levels that slowly and silently dictate your overall metabolic and cellular health. Okay, let's dive into this. As we look at the research, there's a really important quote that totally stands out. This isn't about fear, it's about fine-tuning. I love that. Your whole food plant-based diet isn't broken. It's an absolute powerhouse for long-term health. But thriving on it? Well, that requires going beyond just eating enough. It requires a little bit of strategic tweaking to close some hidden gaps. Whenever plant-based nutrition comes up, the spotlight almost always shines on B12 and omega-3s. We've all heard about them, but we really need to talk about these four unsung heroes: iodine, zinc, selenium, and iron. These four minerals are absolutely critical for your hormonal and metabolic health. They're working tirelessly behind the scenes, running the whole show, whether you notice them or not. So let's break down exactly what each one actually does. Let's start with number one, iodine, the true regulator of your metabolism. Iodine is basically the master control switch for your thyroid and your total energy output. When your intake drops too low, everything in your body can literally start to feel slower, like you're walking through mud. And here's a massive pitfall we uncovered. Many health-conscious people swap out regular iodized salt for fancy sea salts or pink salts, or honestly, they just cut salt out entirely. That one simple switch can completely tank your iodine consumption, and that directly influences how efficiently your body burns fuel and regulates its temperature. Next up, we have zinc, the master of repair and immunity. Zinc is a total heavyweight when it comes to keeping your body resilient. Think about the hidden jobs it's doing every single second: DNA synthesis, cell division, collagen formation, wound healing, immune signaling, the whole shebang. Now here's the catch. On a plant-based diet, your actual intake of zinc is usually perfectly fine. We're generally eating enough of it. The real challenge, and we're going to solve this in just a few minutes, is how much of that zinc our bodies are actually absorbing. Let's look at our third hero, selenium, your body's antioxidant shield. Selenium is fascinating because it actually partners up with iodine to keep your metabolic health from stalling out. It has the highly specific job of converting inactive thyroid hormone, that's T4, into its active, usable form, T3. Because of that crucial role, vague symptoms often tie directly back to it. Are you dealing with unexplained fatigue, a slower metabolism, constantly feeling cold? Maybe your hair is thinning or you've got brittle nails? Yeah, those could totally be signs of low selenium. But a quick heads up, this is a nutrient where balance is vital. Too much or too little can both cause issues, so you don't want to go overboard. And finally, number 4, iron, the ultimate engine of oxygen transport. Iron is simply non-negotiable for your physical endurance and your brain function. So the crucial point is this: when your iron is low, your body literally cannot efficiently deliver oxygen to your tissues. And when oxygen delivery fails, well, everything feels harder. Working out, thinking clearly, just getting through the day. Now, plant-based diets provide what's called non-heme iron. It's a fantastic source, but it's super sensitive to absorption factors. It just needs a little bit of a helping hand from us to get where it needs to go. Okay. This brings us to a very logical question. You might be wondering, if a whole food plant-based diet is so incredibly healthy, and it is, why would there naturally be these specific missing links? Like, why are there gaps at all if we are eating exactly what nature provides? Well, it usually boils down to 4 key culprits. First up, soil content. The mineral content of your food depends entirely on the dirt it grew in. And unfortunately, many regional soils are naturally depleted of things like selenium and iodine. Second, bioavailability. Basically, how well we actually absorb the nutrients. Third, limited dietary variety. Come on, we all do it. Even the healthiest eaters get stuck looping the same 5 repetitive meals. And fourth, as we talked about earlier, focusing on macros over micros. Tracking protein is easy. Tracking zinc is hard, so it just gets ignored. And that beautifully illustrates culprit number 2, bioavailability. Let's demystify a word you've probably heard floating around. Phytates. Phytates are beneficial compounds found in whole grains and legumes. Honestly, they're really good for you. However, they have this somewhat annoying habit of binding to minerals, like zinc and iron in your digestive tract. They act almost like a magnet, which reduces how much of those minerals your body can actually absorb. It perfectly proves the old saying, you aren't just what you eat, you are what you absorb. Let's move to and see how this builds. The fix. Fine-tuning your plate without the stress. The absolute best news here is that you do not need expensive, complicated supplement stacks to fix this. Let's start with selenium. This is a genuinely surprising fact, because a tiny amount goes such an incredibly long way. Literally just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day provides the perfect targeted dose to completely meet your selenium needs. That's it, 1 or 2 nuts. It's really that simple. For our other minerals, targeted sourcing is your best friend. For iodine, just reintroduce a high-quality iodized salt into your cooking. Or, if you prefer, include moderate amounts of sea vegetables, like nori or wakame, in your weekly meals. For zinc, make sure you're regularly eating legumes, whole grains, and especially seeds. Pumpkin seeds and hemp seeds are absolute gold mines for zinc. But wait, what about those phytates we mentioned? To beat them, you need to master food pairing. Step 1, always pair your iron-rich foods with vitamin C. It drastically boosts absorption. Think black beans with red bell peppers or lentils simmered with tomatoes. Boom. Step 2, separate your tea and coffee from your meals. The tannins in them can completely block iron absorption. And step 3, use traditional prep methods. Soaking your beans overnight, sprouting them, or eating fermented foods naturally breaks down those phytates for you. Now, as a highly motivated learner, you might be tempted to overhaul your entire kitchen today. But the real secret here, consistency over perfection. You absolutely do not need a flawlessly, scientifically calibrated plate every single meal of your life. What actually matters are small, repeatable habits that compound over time. Just get into the groove of throwing some pumpkin seeds on your salad, rotating the types of grains you buy, and keeping a little jar of Brazil nuts right there on the counter. When you shift your mindset from just eating enough to eating strategically, literally everything changes. Your energy rebounds, your recovery sharpens, and you finally close those subtle nutrient gaps that have been holding you back. Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. Are you ready to make your body work with you instead of against you? Start with awareness, build that consistency, and let those amazing results compound. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today. Keep fine-tuning, and I'll catch you in the next one.